In this recording, I'm going to share with you about property division in divorce. One of the things that you want to think about right off the bat is understanding whether or not you live in a jurisdiction that has a community property scenario or otherwise. So, for example, if you are going through a separation and divorce, when you are in a community property state or province, what ends up happening is that there's an assumption that any of the assets and debt that accumulated during the course of your relationship, that it would end up being equally divided. So you take all the asset growth and the debt and whatever the net amount is, you end up dividing that in two. Now, in British Columbia, you end up doing that unless something would be significantly unfair. Now, in other jurisdictions, often what they look at is like, well, let's look at the support provisions, let's look at the property, how much there is, and what is the overall fair best result for the parties. And it doesn't actually have that requirement of the equality that the Family Law Act does in British Columbia. Now, this can be particularly important. And I'm thinking about a case, let me call them Batman and Robin. So Batman and Robin, they've been together for, a very long time. They have a couple of young kids, and unlike the movie Batman, this Batman is not independently wealthy at all. In fact, this Batman has been fighting crime, flying around at night, doing all kinds of stuff, and really passionate about that. But in terms of supporting the family, not so good. Robin, in fact, has always had that work, that financially supporting the family has always fallen on Robin's shoulders. In fact, so has raising the children. And so now that Batman and Robin are going through their separation, because Batman's run off with Harley Quinn, Robin has decided to stay parenting the kids. And Batman's happy with that because he's off with Harley Quinn. And the thing is that Batman is entitled to, at least according to our law, half of the equity in the family residence. But the thing is, even though Robin's the one who went to work every day, raised the kids, paying down the mortgage, doing all of that stuff, well, it doesn't matter. Batman gets half that interest. But this is what Robin knows. Batman is not at all going to ever pay child support. Robin is absolutely certain about that. Batman is going to continue his lifestyle of fighting crime, flying around, doing all the things, of course now hanging out with Harley Quinn as well. And so in our jurisdiction where we live, well, the real estate prices are really high. And the thing is that if they sold the family residence, they would each get a little bit of money out of it, but then Robin is going to have to go find a rental property, and it's going to be a lot more money than the mortgage. So what Robin's in the process of doing is saying, hey, Batman, instead of you getting half the equity in the house and me getting half the equity in the house and there being an order for child support, how about we negotiate something different? How about you give me the equity in the family home and you don't have to pay child support? Now, that's challenging to do based on our law because child support is not negotiable. It has to be paid. That's what our law says. At the same time, paying child support by leaving Robin with the equity in the home and allowing Robin to be able to manage finances and being able to move forward without having to rent in a very expensive rental market, well, it's kind of a good thing. It's kind of a win-win for everybody. Oh, hey, it's me. Interrupting a little bit because I want videos like this to reach more people. So if you are enjoying what you see, if you're finding it helpful, please hit the subscribe button, which is somewhere up there. And also tell me, what was the biggest takeaway you had with respect to this video? Leave it in the comments below and I will answer every comment, every question, because that's what I do. So when you're thinking about the division of property for your divorce, first thing you want to do, like I said, is find out if you are in a community state or province like British Columbia or not. And then once you've figured that out, make sure that you hire a lawyer that is experienced in property division. Now, why do I say that? Well, not all lawyers focus on property division. Some lawyers really prefer to just do the parenting stuff. However, if you do have property, you want to have a lawyer that has that kind of experience. And why do I say that? Well, again, in British Columbia, because we have a community property province, what that means, of course, is that when we're dividing the asset and the debt, we want to make sure that it is divided properly. So let's think about why it's important for your lawyer to have property division experience. So think about this kind of a situation. Let's say that your family has a 2010 Acura and you had two vehicles, and your spouse also had a 2010 Acura, and both of those cars were paid off. However, last year, because your spouse's Acura had, really needed a lot of work and had really got lots of miles on it and was a disaster, you decided as a family, hey, let's get a new Acura. So off you go, you trade in the 2010 Acura, and now you have in your family a 2010 Acura and you have a 2024 Acura, let's say. And that 2024 Acura also has attached to it a loan of, let's say, $50,000 that's going to be lasting for 6 years. Now, a lot of times what people think is fair is like, okay, we've separated, but I've got the new car, so I'm going to take the new car and the debt associated with it. But the question is that really fair? What you know is that you needed to have a new vehicle. You decided as a family to purchase this new Acura, and the previous Acura was paid off. So is it fair that the first spouse, who has the 2010 Acura still, that they end up having a paid off car with, of course, with no debt associated with it? At the same time, over here, you have a car that is brand new, but it has no equity in it. In fact, this person has negative equity in it because the person is taking over a loan that has a higher amount owing than the car is actually worth. So your property division lawyer is going to actually get you to think about that. Maybe the more appropriate thing to do is that you divide that family debt between the two parties. I have a case where it was a very similar situation to that, and in fact the parties decided to sell the new vehicle even at a loss, pay out that loan, and then get a less expensive vehicle. So those are the kinds of things that you want your property division lawyer to think about. The thing to remember is that when you are going through property division and you live in a community state, you ever hear people say, she got everything in the divorce? Well, really, a lot of the time, it's not that she got everything. It's that the other party thought everything was theirs. And the fact is you've got to share it when you accumulate wealth, assets during the course of your relationship. Finally, before I wrap up, I want to make sure that you know what to include in your property division. Make sure you include all of it. You include your bank accounts, your vehicles, your property, your real estate, and of course, all of your debt, whether that be a car loan, mortgage, or credit card debt even. So this is Val, and this is my video about property division. If you found this video helpful, and I hope you did, please give it a thumbs up. Because if you do that, then this video will be able to reach more people. And as well, if you want to stay in closer touch with me, please ring the little bell icon so that you can subscribe to this channel. This is Val. Much, much love.